welcome back to Hardly Minding My Business. I'm your girl, Dashing D. Yo, I got sick. Like, everybody I know thinks I had COVID. I have no idea what was wrong with me. I just know that I could not get out of bed for like 3 days. And my chest was on fire. I really don't know. I really don't know what was wrong with me. It kind of like maybe resembled the flu, but didn't feel like a full-fledged flu. I tried to take a COVID test, couldn't take a COVID test for one reason or another. I don't know what happened, but I was not well. So that's why I disappeared. I mean, I know I'd be disappearing, so it is what it is. But I got sick and I was just like, all right, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. And then my damn smoke detector has been an ongoing issue for a very long time. It starts beeping the other day because they came in here and did something with it. And it was like, all right, well, how am I supposed to record with that shit beeping? So I got it fixed. We're good now, but here I am. There's been a lot going on lately, so we have a lot to talk about. So I know I said we have a lot to talk about and the episode is really short. And the only reason for that is I lost 20 minutes of the audio. I have no idea what happened, but don't worry, I got y'all next week. The first thing I wanted to say though is I thought this was funny to share on the pod. So a friend of mine told me recently that they were out and about in the city and was getting on the train, and they walk on the train, and lo and behold, who do they see? Their ex. The funny part about the story is that the ex was like fingers deep in some chicken wings on the train. Now, I know that a lot of people say that New York is really not that big, and the chances of you running into someone you know are very likely. I mean, there's a bunch of train lines, but there's only so many train lines you can use, right? And they only go, like, a lot of them cross paths. So if you're at a major hub, chances are likely that you either passed by someone you knew and didn't realize it, or you look dead at them and realize that they're there. So I thought this was really funny because I was like, chicken wings though, like of all the things that you would be eating, the concern here would be for me. First of all, if I was that person, I would have been mortified. I don't care whether I talk to my ex, I don't talk to my ex. We ended on good terms. We ended on bad terms. It don't matter what the situation is. That's just never going to be an ideal scenario for me. Why is that? Because I don't know about y'all, but like I'm one of those people that I want to make sure I look good. I want to make sure I'm intact. Everything is where it's supposed to be, and I'm neat and looking good and looking like I'm thriving when my exes see me. I know, but also, you know, y'all know I can be a little petty sometimes, but like, it's just something about being able to say, you know, I'm good. Like, that was a time in my life that happened. It is over now. And I'm still doing good and I'm still doing amazing. And that person, especially if it's somebody who really fucked you over or somebody who, you know, fumbled the ball with you. Yeah, no, I want to make sure that I look good. So I would have been mortified because I would have been like, yo, chicken wings? Nah, I mean, I don't think I would ever eat wings on the train, but never say never because, you know, shit happens. But I just thought that was real crazy. Trying to get rid of a fly. Anyway, so I thought that was a funny story. I was like, oh my gosh, what did you do? And I mean, what can you do? You kind of just see the person and you know, whatever. I guess what you do is I would have quickly put away them wings and been like, nah. But maybe you don't care about that. Maybe that's not important, right? And reality of the situation is it is not. In the grand scheme of things, it is not important. You don't need to be worried about what they're doing, what you're doing, like none of that. I just know for me, there's certain times where I go to certain cities and I'm like, man, I might run into this person. I mean, I'm always going to make sure that I look good, just in general. I like to go outside and present my best self. But if I know I'm in somebody else's city, yeah, I'm gonna just make sure, okay, is anything out of place? Is there lipstick on my teeth? Because you never, ever, ever know. And I don't want anybody to catch me slipping. That's just what that is. So I thought that was really funny. I thought that was really funny. So I guess that's kind of my petty or nah this week. Like, you not gonna catch me slipping, nigga. You just won't. That's my petty or nah. I'm gonna make it that because I don't think I really had one today. But let that be it, right? But put in the comments, like, what do you do or what have you done when you ran into an ex, like, randomly? I've never, oh my gosh, knock on wood. I don't think I've ever had an encounter like that where, what I have had happen is if you know anything about me and you know the story of Ginger Ale Guy, then I can say that I have seen Ginger Ale Guy since the Ginger Ale incident 3 times out and about in New York City. And he, as far as I know, did not see me. But what I do know is that I did not engage. I did not look too hard. Once I saw him, there was one time where I was far enough away where, like, I was stationary. I was with a group of people and he was walking. I think we were in Washington Square Park maybe. And he's walking. He doesn't see me because he wouldn't have seen me from the angle I was at. But I was just like, oh my gosh, that's the guy, that's the guy, that's the guy. And I'm like nudging my friends like, yo, that's him. I don't know what that man would do if he saw me. What I do know is that I don't ever want to come face to face with him ever again. The way he cursed me out after the Ginger Ale incident, the way he told me off, lets me know everything I need to know, that when I see him if I ever see him again, it ain't gonna be a pleasant situation. And I get it, because like I threw ginger ale on you, so but other than that, I think I've been pretty good, thankfully. Like I've never really had a situation like that. I just thought it was funny, and I was like, well, I mean, I don't see now. I'm not one of those people who I don't care anything about, who's on your arm or who did you bring, what date did you bring, or I don't care about any of that. Like, if you want to be single, be single. If you want to be in a relationship or a whatever ship, do what you do. Like, I don't care nothing about that. That whole idea of like making another person jealous, I don't give a shit about that. I just want to make sure I look good, because I mean, why not be like, yeah, that's what I lost. Yep, that's what you lost. Anyway, so it's silly and it's petty and I know it, and whatever. We all have our flaws. So let's move on. Let's talk about some stuff. So a lot has happened over the last couple of weeks. What I will say is that we will not be talking about Carly Richardson. Is Richardson her last name? I think it's Carly Richardson. We're not going to talk about that story. I'm sure by now you know her story and the fact that the kidnapping was a hoax. I don't really have too much to say about it. Like, don't pretend to be kidnapped. I think we all know that that's true. Like, that's not what you should be trying to do. Also, I just feel like, my only hope is that she is treated the way that other people are treated when these things happen, and that they don't come down on her harder than they have of women who are not Black, but have done the same thing. Because I've been seeing a lot of stories about people who kind of just got a slap on the wrist or had to pay a fine or something like that. I don't know that jail time is what makes sense here, but you know, we'll see what happens. But that's really all I have to say about it. I don't have too many opinions about it. What else do we have to talk about or not talk about? Erykah Badu. Let's talk about Erykah Badu. Y'all know how much I love Erykah Badu. So apparently she was charged with re-recording Tyrone for the new They Cloned Tyrone movie that's on Netflix. So starring Jamie Foxx, John Boyega, Tiana Paris, or Parrish. There's other people in it that I can't think of right now, but yeah. So she re-recorded it. So I think instead of saying you better call Tyrone, she says you better clone Tyrone or something like that. But you know, that's my girl. So I had to point that out. I had to, speak on it. But she's been out here doing her thing. I just want to point out also, she's on tour right now, so she's been, making the rounds and whatnot. I missed it. I wanted to go so bad, but I missed it. Yeah, I just thought that was cool that that Erykah Badu did that. I have not seen They Clone Tyrone yet. I just haven't been ready to watch it. I know it's there, and I will get to it, but I haven't gotten to it yet. But I've heard good things about it. I haven't really heard anybody say that it's not good. So that's something that I will definitely be checking out at some point soon. Funniest part about the clones, the Tyrone song is that there is also a clip of Erykah Badu at her show singing it and then talking about John Boyega and how fine he is. And then apparently he came out, she didn't know he was there, and she was talking all this shit about him, about how fine she thinks he is. I was like, ooh, well, y'all know she's problematic fave. She's not just the fave, but she's the problematic fave. I mean, that was funny. There was nothing problematic about it, but it was hilarious. It was really good. So look that up if you can. Speaking of fine, there is a September issue of Men's Health, and some rappers are on the cover. So who's on the cover? Let me think about it, because I'm only thinking of one person, and that's why I said speaking of fine, we'll get to him in a second. So Busta is on the cover. It's like one of those covers that you have to extend. And obviously I don't know if anyone actually gets it in the mail or buys it at this point, but it's digital and it's online. But it's Busta, Wiz Khalifa, Ludacris, Common, and Method Man. I think I'm missing one person, but really I just want to talk about Method Man. Y'all know he's fine. I've said he was fine. He's been fine. And what I really wanted to say about him is I think after the Men's Health thing, and the Men's Health thing, by the way, is for the 50th anniversary of hip hop. I mean, by now, I think Really? Oh, come on. I think by now everyone knows that a lot of the things going on this year are centered around the 50th anniversary of hip hop. So that's why Men's Health did this issue. And if you know anything about magazines, you know in the magazine world, the September issue is very big. So this was their big cover for September. Now, That's mostly a fashion thing, I believe, but you know, whatever. So, but speaking of Method Man, he also did an interview with BET recently where he talked about, they asked him about the fact that he's a sex symbol, and he was like, no, like that's not what's going on here. And they were like, but you are a sex symbol. Like, after you did your All I Need or All I Need with Mary J. Blige, that's it. Like, people have been on you since then. And your boy was like, nah, that's not even what I'm on. Like, that don't got nothing to do with me. I'm just out here, and you know what, Method Man, you're fine, okay? When I look at you, I think sex symbol, okay? Okay. When I see you, I think it's synonymous with sex, okay? Just because you just are. Come on, let us have this. Let us have this. And your wife can have you. I appreciated his humility, though. I did. I was like, okay, I get it, you know. And he also talks about other things. In the write-up, he talks about battling depression and kind of having to accept himself and be able to love himself. And that's basically what he said, that's the love that he's concerned about. He's not really concerned about people thinking of him as an icon or some sort of sex symbol or whatever. And I respect that, but you still a sex symbol, all right? That's just life. That's just what has happened. That's just what it is. So you know, do what you do. Do what you do. What else do we have to talk about? I've been debating whether to talk about Lizzo or not. But I think I sit here and I talk to you guys and we have conversations about Black women, and I think that it's really important to give a well-rounded conversation about Black women. I'm never going to sit here and bash or take down or disrespect other Black women. But what I will do is I will present to you what is happening, and I will, try to give my opinion as I see fit. So here's the deal. Lizzo is being sued by 3, I believe, of her former background dancers. There are allegations of sexual harassment. There are allegations of body shaming. There are allegations of something else that I'm missing, just general workplace harassment. There's also a claim that I guess her dance leader was forcing like religion on them. I don't know exactly in what capacity. I did not read about this, so I don't know for sure. So here's the deal, right? I don't know what's true and what's not true, right? There's a lot of people coming out surrounding this, people who didn't actually file the suit. There are a lot of people coming out and talking about their experiences with Lizzo and saying that she's mean and saying that she's done this and she's done that. And there's also a question of, I've heard mixed ideas, right? I've heard people who think that Lizzo can't possibly be fat shaming other people because she herself is a large woman. Or I've been hearing that, this is the music industry and that's what happens. People go out to the strip club, because there's a story about how they went out to the strip club in Amsterdam, and there was a show where a woman put a banana up their vagina and was asking for people to eat the banana out of their vagina, and apparently some of the dancers were strongly encouraged to do it. There is, I listened to the Joe Budden podcast. Actually, someone recommended that I listen to their take on this story, and one of them had a really strong stance about like personal choice, and about the fact that you don't just, like, you are an active participant in peer pressure. I think the part that this person was missing out on is that when you're in a workplace environment, there are power dynamics. And even if we take what we do at work outside of work, and we take it to the strip club, or we take it to a lounge, or we go to the club, or whatever it is, there is still a professional relationship that exists. And I could understand how a person would feel like they don't know how to navigate certain situations if they're being persuaded or pressured to do something that they may not want to do. There is a question of, well, is it going to look like I'm not being a team player? Is it going to look like I'm not really down for whatever? And is that going to be a poor reflection on me when I get back to work tomorrow? I understand that. Here's what I will say. It is not unlikely that to me, the fat shaming part of it is not unlikely. I have a tweet of the week. We'll come back to that. But my tweet of the week is a direct connection to this story. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and launch into tweet of the week right now, because so tweet of the week was by someone called Peruvian Pepper, and she said, Lizzo fat shaming while being fat herself. Don't surprise me, because that's the shit my tias do. And for those of you who don't know Spanish, she's talking about her aunties. And as a person who has Caribbean aunties, that shit is real. Like, you yourself are not fit. You yourself don't have a flat stomach. You yourself have wings on your arms. Like, you yourself can't easily fit into a size 4, a size 2, whatever it is. Those are usually the people. I had an aunt who would see me and pinch me to tell me how fat I was. And I can't count on my hands how many times I've experienced that, where one of the aunties would be like, oh, well, Dion, you get fat. I mean, that shit is real. But again, it's usually coming from people who probably could drop 50 pounds themselves. So I agree with that. And that's kind of my sentiment here. Like, that's really what I want to take away from this. I don't know what's true and what's not true. I hope that whoever feels wronged whoever feels like they are wronged, I hope that they are able to move on and move past in whatever way this plays out. I hope that if Lizzo is not guilty of the things she's being accused of, that her career doesn't take a huge hit for this. I also, if there are things that need to be fixed in terms of the way she runs her business, then I hope that those things are addressed, right? Y'all know me, like, I'm not committed to any famous person we could get them the fuck out of here if they don't belong to be if they're not meant to be a part of the conversation anymore. I'm okay with getting them the fuck out of here. Like, I don't, to me, I'm not losing any sleep over this one way or another, because I guess I never felt that connection to Lizzo's music. So you know, she makes great music, don't get me wrong. There's music that I've danced to, the commercials, when all of her songs that are in TV commercials or whatnot, like, how can you forget them? They're catchy. But I just feel like the takeaway here for me is that things are not always what they seem. And just because you have an image of someone and someone portrays something or supports something doesn't mean that they don't have their own demons, and doesn't mean that they're incapable of doing something unexpected and unpredictable. It is very like, I think that the internet has taught us, and just like celebrity culture period has taught us, that we don't really know the people put out their personas, but we don't really know them. We don't know exactly who they are and what they do. We don't know how they are as people in real life unless we've interacted with them. And even then, like, a lot of this is performing and acting and being able to be in front of people and portray one image and keep hidden another. That's why y'all get so fucked up in the head when people like Summer Walker show you exactly who she is when she's on stage. Not to knock her, but it's just like, okay, she ain't trying to hide who she is. She's like, I don't really care about this. I don't want to be doing this right now. I would rather be doing something else, but here I am. And I just feel like as much as people get upset and as much as people stress about things like that, at the very least, you get a glimpse of who that person is, so you're not shocked. But I think it's really shocking and really unnerving to the system when you have only seen one person one way and you've only experienced them in a way that is positive and exciting, and all you see is the talent. And it doesn't mean that they don't have skeletons, and it doesn't mean that they can't do anything wrong. So that is not to say that Lizzo did what she's being accused of. That is not to say one thing or another about her, or the people who are accusing her. But I think that, one, everything needs to be investigated. If that many people have something to say, then it's worth looking into, and it's worth pursuing. You don't ever want people to be in a position where they feel like they cannot exist at their job without feeling like they're going to be harassed or whatever the case may be. I'm not for that at all, but all I'm saying is none of this shit is unlikely. Like, I come up here all the time and I talk about things, the bad behavior that, you know, people get into. And that's because nobody's exempt from that. No one at all. So let's just keep that in mind. And with that being said, that is our episode. And I will see you next week. Bye.